All right, developments in Cape Town. Now I want to take you back to the mother cities where we find my colleague Vanessa Poonah. She's covering the urgent bail hearing for Zandile Mafe. He's alleged to have, he's the alleged parliament arsonist. And there's been developments with regards to media being allowed inside court. Vanessa, the last time we spoke, you were still waiting to hear whether you can get in. What's the latest?
Yes, Blaine, good morning to you. And as we said earlier on as well, quite a number of media houses, mostly broadcasters, were shut out of the Western Cape High Court. We understand that only a very few, a handful of journalists were indeed allowed into court, and some people are citing that they had made application earlier than the rest. Of course, Blaine, let me just tell you that the process when we apply for permission to film inside court, media houses usually bring an application. We have a letter from our editors. We take it to the registrar of the judge, and of course then we are told whether we can or can't. We get a stamp from the court manager, and that is how usually we are allowed to film proceedings in court, of course determined by the restrictions that the Honourable Court would place on us. For example, sometimes court would say that we're not allowed to film while proceedings are ongoing. Sometimes we are allowed to go live. Other times we're just allowed to film proceedings, to film in court before proceedings start, and then of course once the judge has left the courtroom. Of course today I can tell you that only a handful of media houses have been allowed in. We're still trying to get a clarity in terms of why exactly that is, whether it is because, as we've heard around, and of course this unsubstantiated at the moment, people have made application before others. Also, some of the policemen outside court that have been talking to us have told us that it was indeed a very small courtroom 26. Most of the members of the legal teams as well as members of the Hawks had filled up the court, and of course then that one or two or a handful of reporters. I know that I've just received word from inside the court, sources telling us that the matter has been adjourned until next week. We understand that at this point it's to allow for another judge to sit in on this matter. I'm going to confirm that as soon as we have a chance to speak to the National Prosecuting Authority as well as the defence for Mr. Zandile Mafe. They're expected to wrap up things inside the court and come outside very, very shortly. Of course, all cameras are trained on this High Court building here behind me, because we, of course, are very interested to know exactly what was said inside the courtroom, and also, as members of the media have made their voices known outside, feeling a bit done in. Blaine, if I can tell you, because for an ordinary reporter with a notebook and a pen or a cell phone, we don't need to apply to get inside a court. It is only when we need to bring in video and recording equipment that an application is required. But many reporters, even from the broadcast houses, etc., were not allowed to go inside court, and we were told that one of the reasons is because courtroom 26 is a small court, and that there were COVID-19 restrictions and regulations. Of course, the court was full, but we are not happy that we were not allowed access into this court. We will iron that out with the relevant authorities, of course, as we await for them to come outside of court. Mr. Mafe, of course, not at court today. He's been sent for that 30-day mental evaluation at Falkenberg Psychiatric Hospital. He's into his third day of that evaluation at the moment. We'll speak to the legal counsel once they come out for more information on what had transpired inside court, and also the condition of Mr. Mafe, who told the magistrates court via his legal counsel on Tuesday that if he was incarcerated he would go on a hunger strike, and of course he at this point would then mean that he would not have taken any foods or liquids over the past 3 days since he was then sent for that mental evaluation. So that's of course something that we would like to clear up and just find out from his defence counsel what state he is in at the moment. But yes, outside the High Court we wait to hear from the NPA as well as from the legal counsel of Mr. Zandile Mafe in terms of where to from here in this urgent bail application.